Shen Zhiyi leaned to the side and crashed into his arms. The crisp scent of cedar mingled with a faint hint of tobacco instantly enveloped her. The man sighed softly, then his large hand suddenly clamped down on Shen Zhiyi's wrist. His fingertips dug into the cool bone of her wrist with such force that it felt as if they were about to sink into her flesh. "You're not drunk at all." The man wasn't really drunk at all. As Shen Zhiyi leaned to the side and collided with his chest, the crisp scent of cedar mingled with a faint hint of tobacco instantly enveloped her. The bathroom was filled with the thick white mist, blurring Shen Zhiyi's silhouette. He couldn't make out the man's face behind her, only catching a fleeting glimpse of his broad shoulders, thin lips, and drooping eyelashes. Sharp minus edged and crisp with a tough, refined demeanor, yet his gaze is as deep and icy as if dipped in ice. Big hands with thorns on the fingertips. Shen Zhiyi's fingertips trembled ever since entering the hotel. She'd been causing one mishap after another, fleeing from the drinking party all the way to the top floor, only to accidentally wander into what was arguably the most prestigious presidential suite in the entire city of Cheng. From the moment she entered the room until now, she'd been maneuvering around the man for nearly half an hour. He hadn't said a single word more than necessary, yet he stubbornly refused to let go of her. His gaze was so sharp it seemed as if he were carving marks into her very skin. What special pattern? Shen Zhiyi's Adam's apple bobbed as she forcibly pried his hand loose, trying her best to sound calm. "I just got a little drunk and wandered into the wrong room. Don't hold on to me like this." The man didn't say a word, he just lowered his gaze and looked at her. That gaze was so intense that Shen Zhiyi felt a chill run down her spine, stumbled slightly, and found her back pressing directly against the cold marble wall. Leaned forward smoothly, his warm breath brushing against her lobby. His voice was low and husky, like sandpaper rubbing against wood. "Did you walk into the wrong room?" Shen Zhiyi forced herself to nod and said, "Yes, I took the wrong turn." "You'll leave right away." She reached out to turn the doorknob, her fingertips just brushing against the cold metal, when her wrist was suddenly seized again. This time, the grip was firmer. The man's fingertips brushed lightly across the shallow scar on her wrist, a gesture that carried a barely perceptible hint of caress. How did this scar come about? Shen Zhiyi's heart sank. This scar was from when she fell out of a tree as a child. She had almost forgotten about it herself. How could the man possibly know? She jerked her head up, only to find herself staring directly into the man's profound eyes. Those eyes were utterly clear, far from showing any sign of drunkenness. They were unnervingly sharp and focused on her without blinking, as if they could see right through her inside and out. "I fell by myself," Shen Zhiyi said, her gaze avoiding his eyes as she tried to pull free from his grip. "Let go of me. I really do have to leave now." But the man didn't let go. Instead, he leaned slightly forward, trapping her between the wall and himself. His deep voice echoed especially clearly in the quiet room. "Zhiyi, 5 years ago in Wutong Lane in Beijing, you stole my grandfather's sugar sculpture and even pushed me down the steps. Do you remember?" Shen Zhiyi's pupils suddenly contracted. "Whoa. Tong Lane in Beijing? Sugar paintings?" That memory was like an old box sealed away by dust, suddenly pried open by a single word from the man. 5 years ago, she had just arrived in Beijing from her hometown and was staying with relatives. That day, she sneaked out and snatched a sugar sculpture from an elderly man in Wutong Alley, then pushed the little boy who'd been standing nearby along with the old man down the steps. "Is that little boy him?" Shen Zhiyi was completely baffled. She never could have imagined that the presidential suite she had accidentally wandered into would turn out to be the very same one where, 5 years earlier, she had pushed a little boy down the steps. I was young and didn't know any better back then." Shen Zhiyi's voice grew softer and softer and softer. "I really had forgotten. I didn't know it was you." Looking at her flustered expression, The man's tightly clenched jawline softened just a bit, but he still didn't let go of her wrist. You've forgotten. Then what about the scar on your wrist? Have you forgotten that too? Shen Zhiyi lowered her head and looked at her wrist. The faint scar was still there, though she had deliberately ignored it for many years. She was about to say something more, when her phone suddenly rang at an inopportune moment. The name best friend Lin Xiao was flashing on the screen. Shen Zhiyi fumbled to answer the call. Just as she was about to explain where she was, Lin Xiao's anxious voice came through the line. Zhiyi. Where have you been? The hotel manager is almost driving himself crazy looking for you. Did you get into another mess again? By the way, the room you're staying in is President Jing Chen's exclusive suite. How dare you even stay there? Jing Chen? Shen Zhiyi suddenly looked up, fixing her gaze on the man standing before her. Under the light, the man's facial features, his eyebrows and eyes became even more distinct. Straight nose, thin, sharply defined lips, and those profound, deep-set eyes exactly those of Jing Chen, the head of the Jing Group. She actually mistook the CEO of HAI Chang's top-tier, high-profile family for an ordinary drunkard, and she had been making a scene in his presidential suite for so long. Shen Zhiyi's face turned pale in an instant. Jing Chen watched her face suddenly change, his thin lips curling slightly in a teasing smile. Now you're finally scared? What about 5 years ago? You pushed me. Didn't you feel a thing? Shen Zhiyi felt like crying, but had no tears left, mister. Jing? I really didn't mean to do it. It had too much to drink and mistakenly walked into the wrong room. You'll leave right now. Right this minute, and I promise I won't bother you again. As she spoke, she was about to push him aside and run out, but Jing Chen grabbed her by the back of the neck and pulled her back, holding her like a little kitten. Leave? Jing Chen's voice carried a hint of danger. You've wandered into my room, slept in my bed, and yet you still just leaving like this. Shen Zhiyi felt like crying but had no tears left. So what do you want me to do? I don't have any money to compensate you, and there's nothing else I can give you either. Jing Chen lowered his head and leaned closer to her. His warm breath brushed against her lips, and his voice was low, husky, and tantalizing. No money? Then you'll just have to pay for it yourself. Shen Zhiyi's face instantly turned bright red, and she abruptly pushed him away. General Jing, please don't joke around. Jing Chen didn't smile. His gaze was serious as he looked at her. I'm not joking. 5 years ago, you stole my grandfather's sugar sculpture and pushed me down the steps, causing me to break my leg. And I still haven't held you accountable for that. Now you've broken into my room again. This time, we definitely need to settle this score. Shen Zhiyi swallowed hard, her heart torn between the conflicting desires. She knew she had really messed up this time. Seeing her troubled expression, Jing Chen suddenly released his grip, turned around, walked to the sofa, and sat down. Picking up the documents on the table, he began flipping through them in a flat tone and giving you the options. First, stay and become my personal assistant, taking care of my daily life until I've paid off this debt. Second, leave right now. I'll immediately have my lawyer send you a legal notice, accusing you of illegal trespassing and demanding compensation for emotional distress and damage to the room, totaling 10 million. Shen Zhiyi, 10 million? Just a recent college graduate, let alone 10 million. She can't even come up with 100,000. He'll take the first one. Shen Zhiyi immediately raised her hand. General Jing, I'll be your assistant. Don't worry, he'll work really hard and never slack off. Jing Chen raised his eyes and glanced at her briefly, a faint smile curling at the corner of his lips. Excellent. Starting today, your job is to stay by my side 24 hours a day. Everything from my clothing and food to my lodging and transportation will be your responsibility. Shen Zhiyi nodded, but inwardly she was wailing. She never could have imagined that all she'd done was stumble into the wrong room after drinking too much and ended up selling herself to the top man in HAI Cheng. Flow president. In the days that followed, Shen Zhiyi began an N-like assistant lifestyle. At 6 in the morning, she has to get up on time to make breakfast for Jing Chen. The soft boiled egg should be cooked to medium rare 7 minutes exactly, and the coffee should have 2 spoonfuls of sugar but no milk. In the morning, she's going to accompany Jing Chen to the office, helping him organize documents, take notes on meeting minutes, and constantly paying attention to his needs, handing him water, passing him tissues, and reminding him to eat on time. In the afternoon, she's going to accompany Jing Chen to discuss a collaboration serving tea and water, and also handling all sorts of demanding clients. In the evening, she was to accompany Jing Chen to social engagements, blocking his drinks, handing him detoxifying soup, and after he got drunk, helping him back to his room, wiping his face and hands for him. Shen Zhiyi feels as exhausted as a dog every single day. Yet she doesn't dare to complain. After all, she still owes Jing Chen 10 million. That day, Jing Chen took her to a business dinner. At the banquet, many people recognized Jing Chen and came over one after another to offer him a toast. Moreover, quite a few socialites kept staring at Jing Chen, their eyes clearly filled with admiration. Shen Zhiyi followed behind Jing Chen, feeling strangely uneasy in her heart, but she couldn't quite put her finger on why she felt that way. A woman wearing a red evening gown approached Jing Chen, holding a wine glass, and said with a sweet smile, "Mr. Jing, it's been so long. I'd like to offer you a toast." Jing Chen nodded faintly, didn't take the wine glass, but instead looked at Shen Zhiyi and said, "Drink this for me." Shen Zhiyi paused for a moment, then quickly realized what was happening, took the wine glass, and downed the drink in one gulp. The spiciness of the red wine slid down her throat, causing her to cough several times from the burn. The woman glanced at Shen Zhiyi, her eyes carrying a hint of disdain. "Mr. Jing, who is this?" "My assistant," Jing Chen said in a flat tone, yet he reached out to wrap his arm around Shen Zhiyi's waist, drawing her close and shielding her with his body. Shen Zhiyi's body froze instantly, and her heartbeat suddenly quickened. The woman's face instantly turned grim. She let out a cold snort, then turned around and walked away. Everyone at the banquet wore meaningful smiles upon seeing this scene. After the dinner party, Shen Zhiyi helped the slightly tipsy Jing Chen back to their hotel room. Just as she was about to put Jing Chen onto the bed, he suddenly grabbed her and pulled her down into his arms, causing her to fall right into his lap. "Mr. Jing, you're drunk." Shen Zhiyi thought about pushing him away, but he held her even tighter. Jing Chen lowered his head, his nose brushing against the top of her hair, his voice low and husky. "I'm not drunk." He raised his hand and gently stroked her cheek. The warmth of his fingertips made her shiver. "Shen Zhiyi." Jing Chen's voice carried a hint of seriousness. "I noticed you 5 years ago." Shen Zhiyi was stunned. "On that day, you stole my grandpa's sugar sculpture and, as you ran away, you glanced back at me once." Jing Chen's eyes reflected her figure. Those eyes were as bright as stars. Shen Zhiyi's heartbeat skipped a beat in an instant. "Lately I've been searching for you, searching for 5 whole years." Jing Chen's fingertips gently traced her lips. "Hey, it wasn't until today that I finally found you." Shen Zhiyi looked into his earnest eyes, and feelings welled up in her heart in an instant. She had always thought that she and Jing Chen were merely creditor and debtor, but never could she have imagined that he'd been searching for her for 5 whole years. "General Jing, call me Jing Chen." Jing Chen interrupted her, his gaze so tender it could drown a person. Shen Zhiyi opened her mouth slightly and whispered, "Jing Chen." Jing Chen smiled, lowered his head, and kissed her lips. This kiss was tender and lingering, imbued with the rich aroma of red wine and the crisp freshness of cedar, instantly enveloping her. Shen Zhiyi's eyes widened in an instant, then slowly closed again. She reached out and wrapped her arms around his neck, responding to his kiss. The moonlight outside the window streamed in through the floor minus to minus ceiling windows, gently falling upon the two of them. Soft and romantic. After an unknown amount of time had passed, the two finally parted ways. Jing-Chen rested his forehead against hers. His breathing rapid. Shen Zhiyi, will you be my girlfriend? Shen Zhiyi looked into his reddened eyes and nodded vigorously. Okay. Jing-Chen smiled, holding her tightly in his arms, his voice tinged with a hint of emotion. So, good, finally I found you. The next morning, when Shen Zhiyi woke up, Jing-Chen was already gone from her side. She sat up and saw a note by the bedside, written in Jing-Chen as strong, bold handwriting. When you're awake, go have breakfast. I'm heading to the office. Tonight, it'll take you out for the sweet minus and minus our poor cribs you love. Shen Zhiyi glanced at the note, and a smile unconsciously appeared on her lips. She picked up her phone and saw a message from Lin Zhao Zhiyi. You're something else. You actually managed to win over General Jing. Come on, spill the beans. When did the two of you start dating? Shen Zhiyi replied with a smile. A secret. She lowered her head, staring at the scar on her wrist, then recalled Jing-Chen's kiss from last night, and her heart felt sweetly warm. It turned out that an accident 5 years ago had led her to meet someone who loved and protected her so deeply. In the evening, Jing-Chen indeed took Shen Zhiyi out for sweet and sour pork ribs. Watching Shen Zhiyi eat with such relish, Jing-Chen's eyes were filled with tenderness. Zhiyi, Jing-Chen suddenly spoke. Let's go see my grandpa tomorrow, okay? Shen Zhiyi paused for a moment, then nodded. Okay. She knew she had to face all of this now. The next day, Shen Zhiyi followed Jing-Chen to the Jing family's old residence. Grandpa Jing saw Jing-Chen returning with Shen Zhiyi. Couldn't stop smiling. He took Shen Zhiyi's hand and kept praising her. What a fine young lady. What a fine young lady. I should have married you 5 years ago. Shen Zhiyi's face instantly turned bright red, and she hid behind Jing-Chen. Jing-Chen reached out and took her hand, then said to Grandpa Jing, Grandpa, I'm going to marry Zhiyi. I'll propose next month. Grandpa Jing nodded repeatedly. Great, great. We'll go prepare for the engagement banquet right away. Shen Zhiyi looked at the two of them, her heart filled with happiness. She never could have imagined that accidentally walking into the wrong room would bring her so much happiness. On the day of the engagement banquet, Shen Zhiyi wore a pristine white gown and, arm in arm with Jing-Chen, accepted every honest blessings. Jing-Chen lowered his head and whispered softly in her ear, Shen Zhiyi, for the rest of my life, I'll never let go of your hand. Shen Zhiyi looked up and, meeting his earnest gaze, said with a smile, Jing-Chen, in this lifetime, I'll never let go of your hand. The sunlight shone on the two of them, warm and dazzling. This bond, which began 5 years ago with sugar paintings, has finally blossomed into the sweetest flower today.